Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is the Fridays podcast. We talk about anything and everything Street Fighter duels. We have a couple of topics. Uh, we're talking about street art, little tips and tricks on how to do it efficiently. I was blind to it and I wasn't aware. I just do the do and it happens. But these guys have some tips. Anyone want to like share on how to master street art? Next on anyone?
Oh wait, Basset street art, but it's fairly straightforward. It's always the same event. You have to do certain fights with to balance fighters, to assassin fighters, to power fighters, etc. Just do that in arena. Just make a lineup with two assassins. Just beat up the low tier players. I'm sorry to those low tier players, but you always have someone under you anyways.
That's true.
It's the easiest way to complete it.
Well,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
it's
some
also
people do the balance in this not attack assist, and it works.
Yeah, assist work.
Yeah, assist work. The other place you could do it as well is in Shadow Lucidity. Once you get like a few bursts going, I think like halfway through floor one. Usually it doesn't matter what unit you put in as long as you have a Bison. You can complete those tasks there as well. Unless you're doing Satsui mode, of course. Satsui mode is a completely different story because Satsui even does not nice things to my main accounts.
Satsui makes me cry.
Especially now that they removed the wind and it's lightning and fire. It sucks. But anyways, the rest of the missions are also fairly straightforward. You need to clear 12 stages of Shadowloo, which is 4 rotations. And then you have to collect 2 wind fighters, 2 flame fighters, and 2 lightning fighters. Just save the A shards if you're like a more set player, if you're like a few months in, like me. It just makes your life easier. You don't have to waste your gems on draws. You don't have to like pray for the RNG lord to give you A shards. You can just pop them then. You don't really need the SS. If you need an SS badly because you're like getting level capped or something, I don't even know how that happens. But if you do, then it's fine to pop them, of course. But just try to save like 10 shards a month to pop them then, to basically guarantee you passing that and getting a free jury or gang copy, which is what we're all looking for anyways.
Yeah, for me, I want to speak on street art because once I was at chapter 30, 35 or 36, it was the previous street arts, and I was cutting close. I was like a few days, and I couldn't get the last. I think it was lightning or flame. So I basically had to push the chapters for the 2 guaranteed cards thing to actually complete street art. So I caught close on the 3rd street art event. So that's why saving it is good if you don't, use your gems on summoning or you don't have tokens to summon. It definitely is like a safeguard, like a safety net.
So you're just basically guaranteeing getting the box.
You're basically instead of having like maybe 50, 60, 70% chance to complete it without having anything in your bag, to having like, okay, if I have some cards saved, it's like almost 100%. But so if you're unlucky and if you don't push the chapters or have a way to snag it somehow, then you're basically losing on the gen copy.
Who you guys have been pulling for the boxes?
I'm using juries because I got closer to jury than I was to Gen when I started using those boxes. So I'm just getting her to SS. I think I need 1 more copy after this street art to get her to SS to get the SS skill going. And then I'm just switching to Gen because Gen is by far the better choice. Not only for his assist, but he also just has way better bonds with other units like Akuma, like Trendy Kami. He gives Akuma 6 speed when he's at SSS. That's actually just insane, by the way. Like, I can't stress enough how important speed is for anyone in this game.
That's pretty nice.
Furthermore, I think they will update the chest this or the next street art event. And why I'm thinking this is because they're also updating the Tarot event chests, the Tarot event rewards, because now you can get a Trendy Kami and it's not like Rose or Gen who are like original light heroes, master heroes. Trendy Kami is like new compared to those units, I guess.
What do you guys think about that? Is that a good or bad thing?
Like the character in the tarot event. I
Yeah,
mean,
like the change.
really,
How like because like some people rely on that to try to rank up the roles or the.
In my opinion, you should never buy
yeah,
the unit in the
characters.
turret event. The
Yeah,
one
no,
unit is not, when you're free to play, it's not worth the resources you're missing out in the 24-hour boxes. I
Yeah.
can get that you don't really think that you need to break stone and a cash chest. If you don't need them, sure, that's fine. But I'm just looking at, like, for example, myself and Tix. We're constantly out of cash from buying OG tokens and other stuff from the shop. Cash is very important, and it's a very scarce resource, especially when like you're maxed in tower. You can't progress further because of the tower power limits. Also, the 24-hour chest, even if you don't need them at that very moment, you can just save them in your bag. It's nice to have because eventually they will update something in the game. Like maybe they add another tier of characters that you can get past SS plus 5 or something. And maybe that requires more break zones.
I also want to touch upon what Blake said, right? He said something about the original tokens. What I don't usually buy original tokens for gold, but the gold ones, especially the one for 20 for 15 million, I've been snagging that like quite a while. I mean, not every single time I see it. Depends on my cash right now. But that's how I got most of my units to plus 20. I definitely think the 480 or 92 gems for 30 original token is pretty good value, just because you can, I think, how much do you need? Like
240.
240 for,
no, 220, sorry, 220.
Yeah, 220 for, so how much is that? Like roughly around 3K for just 1 plus 10, which is pretty good. If you get it naturally, it's going to be taking quite a while.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting that you guys find you have cash. You said is your highest thing. For me, it's soda. I have like a shit ton of cash.
Well, soda.
Like soda.
The thing about the soda cans, the Fighter XP cans, is that's the main resource that free to play lacks when they limit break. I've noticed this, that like even on my free to play that's currently 5 days old, I'm mostly broke on Fighter Spirit and not Breakstones, which is actually insane to me because I thought Breakstones would be my issue.
Yeah, no, like I'm on 305 on my level.
Oh, that's pretty high.
And I'm like, money is no problem. Breakstones is no problem, but the sodas are killing me. I can't. It takes forever.
Wait.
Sorry,
do you also like do max fast claims?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, yeah. I do. I have to. Also because it's just like, that's the other thing. A lot of people don't take into consideration the equipment that it gives you, the
X move shots,
the EX moves that it gives you. Like, it just gives you so much. The card tokens.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's enough. Like, it makes a dent over time. So I'm just like, and like, how else are you gonna get all this with just that amount of resources? You know, that the gems and stuff like that.
But you start to notice the difference if someone only does the free one, or at least a couple of few. Like over time, like the EXP difference is like, okay, maybe in a week's time that's like 1 or 2 levels different, maybe 1.5 from someone who doesn't do it.
Yep.
Just on EXP.
I'm struggling on gems though, because I had tried, like, I guess it's because I also buy too much in the store. I need equipment and stuff, but it's just like, god dang.
Stopped buying actual equipment in the store like a long time ago.
Yeah,
my store is basically only ever tokens, like both strengthening original and workshop tokens. That's like basically all I ever get out of the general store.
Yeah, do you guys also buy like after you get your Fashion Blanca gear, right? You start to supplement your gear pieces from the 30K ones but for your normal. So
for the guild shop.
Yeah. What do you use your guild shop tokens for? Engravings, or do you also buy your gears from there?
Engravings I
buying
haven't
gears,
really
so-
needed. I usually I wait just in case. Like I waited on my guild shop tokens for a while. So by the time I got Flame Chun-Li, I was able to get like 3 pieces of gear for her like immediately.
That's fair.
If there doesn't look like there's anything coming out, or if I see like a legendary or something like that, I'll probably just start spending the guild tokens on gear for characters. But I'm kind of a hoarder.
Also, one important thing to note about the guild store: buy Tanuki whirlwind fragments daily.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Especially now with the resonance, and I hope Summer Ibuki right around the corner, because we've been teased with her avatar since the game has launched. And
yeah, like the first update she showed up or something like that. Like, yeah.
I mean, we can make a speculation that she's coming because Summer Yang literally just launched. We just got Sagat. Now we need a regular elemental unit. So you can expect.
I hope so. I'm finished on lightning. I have every lightning at SSS.
So I'm gonna say this. People are saying that she might be legendary Summer Ibuki. So in that case, she should show up in 7 days, 10 hours, maybe give an extra day. If she does end up being legendary, that's where she'll show up after that, because they haven't done 2 legendary units really in the store at the same time.
Is that one? Oh yeah, right. That's one.
And that's when Flame Chun-Li should go away. Is in around a week.
Do you think she's going to be the one that's replacing the one in city tokens?
I don't think so. I think they won't release a new character in the shops for a while. But that's my take on it. I think they're still.
Yeah.
So you think it's going to be just jury every single time?
I think they're gonna replace the jury eventually. That's because they tried it with Rose. Apparently, people said that it was trendy Cammy instead of Rose in the honor shop for
really?
the first day. I never noticed it. I heard someone say it's. I don't know if this is true or not. I just heard it.
But I mean, they did mess up the
turret event once.
Turret event and gave us. I think it was Gen, and then they gave like 1 day of Rose randomly, and then switched it back to Gen.
Yeah. But I think they will update City Shop eventually, and probably will add Vega to it instead of Jury, or maybe just add Vega and that's it.
I wouldn't be mad at Vega, to be honest.
The thing about the Vega and Trendy Kami is they have certain uses, but they aren't as broken as some of the other Infernal units, like Sagat that just released, like Bison and stuff. But these characters will stay behind like a Divination Wall or whatever for a long time, but units like Vega were like, they're good, but they're not like insane upgrades to your accounts. Those units will show up in the shop, and those units will be available to buy before you know it, to be honest.
So, I mean, that's a perfect segue to Sagat, the indomitable emperor. What's your guys' opinion? He's spicy.
I was surprised how long he lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually really caught me by surprise. Every time he healed, I was just like, oh, that's fun. I really like that. I didn't care about anything else, but then when people were like, oh, he could be the next Mad Ryu machine gun. No, the machine gun part.
Oh yeah.
That was also I found cool, but like when I was doing the trials, I was like, he never did it. I was like, where's the damn machine gun? What's going on? He did it once, and he only went up to 2, and I was just like, that was anticlimactic.
I mean, it is 30%, right? So RNG is.
Also, I wanna point out one thing. You know how everyone like said he was bugged at the start? This is why I was kind of scared to like summon for him and stuff. But now that it's been how many days since his release? Like 3 or 4, I think.
A bit.
And they still haven't changed anything about him.
The first week.
I think it's safe to assume they won't change the way he works. And
wait, so what's bug? What's supposedly bug?
So basically, you know how he has intervals where he heals himself up, right?
Yeah.
Usually, according to his description, he should only trigger that once per interval. But if he gets back to full HP, for example, and drops below 70% again, that passive procs again, instead of just not proccing because it already procced once. And that's why I was skeptical at first about the character, because if they change that, of course, Sagat will take a huge hit, and he won't be as
Payne
good
said
as
that
people.
actually in his
character breakdown.
He said that this is apparently, like he said, it appears to be proccing more than it should, and he definitely says that if they fix that, it is going to be a hit to Sagat.
It's going to be a hit for a lot of people.
He's still going to be a good unit.
I mean, I don't think they will ever release like a bad unit in divination, but I do think that since it's been this long, and usually, like, if something like this would happen, they'd hot fix it, right?
I mean,
I think if there's enough blowback or feedback about it, it looks like they, at least in recent times, have been fixing it rather quickly. Or in the case of, I think, Evil Ryu, there was something with the C1 and they fixed that quietly. But I guess we'll have to see with Sagat.
I think
for Sagat. Oh, yeah, you can continue.
I think they're doing a really good job, especially with the way they handled the whole chat situation in campaign and stuff. That was so annoying, and they did it within one day. So even though I'm not gonna summon for Sagat until the next character releases, because that's when like the next major update is releasing, I guess. If they don't nerf him then, it is safe to assume they will never nerf him or change it. And that's when, in my opinion, most people, and not just the whales that like can afford it, can jump on him and go summon for him, because he is a great character at the moment, and he's for sure a good idea to get as a second character in Infernal or Master from Divination. Even though I think that units like Athlete Chun-Li and Rose are still really insane units, because their supports, they won't like get out of meta anytime soon. And also just both have great assists and great uses in multi-teams.
And then we also have the other level of just fan favorite, hands down. Shadowloo Kings are it. So people are gonna be wanting to make that team. I know I am. I'm passively making that team. Bison, check. Now I'm working on Vega. Once Vega's done, Sagat is next, boy. And then by that time, Balrog will be out. And 2 years later, I'll have the team. Yay.
I'm scared of Balrog and what's going to happen with him.
I think he'll make or break the game for a lot of people.
No. I'm not because of like how strong he might be, of how potentially might not good he might be. Because
exactly.
Don, lay the hammer down. Let's speak on it, Ashley. That's a good topic to talk on.
So Balrog is supposed to, at least in other versions or whatever, is supposed to heavily rely on dodge. And in our version, it looks like we have insane amounts of pressure that like negates dodge to an extent. So it might severely have an impact on how good Balrog is in our release.
The thing about other versions is, I mean, we've seen what happened with Bison in our version compared to the others. We've seen what happened with Evil Ryu and stuff. The characters are so different that even though it's a good way to like compare, I don't think it's a reason to like be skeptical of how the units will be released.
I mean, also the units are not only different, but like they also don't have the resonance things, right? So the buffs from the resonance that we get, like for certain characters from the passive, they don't have it in the other version as well.
Yeah, Balrog with his resonance is gonna be nasty though. I think I mean, to an extent, it's overrated to like how much it can be, but like that extra push for these specific units.
Oh, because the thing is, people were looking at that Ryu, Evil Ryu especially, right? And we're like, oh my god, this is broken. But no one actually read what the level 4 Ryu passive did. Because the only change that his X move resonance gives him is that you lose 5% less HP. All of the other buffs were already in place. The only thing that changes is you lose 5% less HP.
It's same thing with like Flame Chun-Li. You only get an X %.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good on paper until you actually read the skill and look what it actually upgrades.
The Akuma's one is pretty good though. Not gonna lie.
Akuma's one seems nuts, but that's the only one I'm like, okay, this will change the game.
Yeah, because like 0.1% per
HP 0.6 by the way.
Oh yeah, it's 0.6, but normally it's 0.5, so it's 0.1% additional. So 10% HP is 1% additional bonus damage and bonus accuracy. No, not accuracy. Bonus damage and bonus damage resistance. Yeah, so it's like 50%. That's 5% more, which is it's kind of little, but you know it adds up. You know, damage bonus and damage reduction is pretty huge.
We don't like resonance then apparently.
I think
that's what I'm understanding.
Resonance is fine, but when you take a quick glance at it, it looks way more powerful than it actually is. Then when you sit down and look at it, you're like, okay, it's good. It doesn't take anything away, but you don't need to rush towards anything. I think
it's just there.
The thing is,
it's just there.
Yeah, like, I don't know why they add new system without fixing the how the scroll or how EX moves are in general.
Because they try to fix it.
Yeah, they emphasizes on how strong or how important EX moves are, but then getting them or building them at a certain point is pretty hard.
Yeah. But they try to fix it, and the way they try to fix it, and that's the issue, is by just giving out more scrolls to get. But it's still just the mere 2% chance to get an X move. That's still 1 in every 50.
Wait, where are they giving out more scrolls?
Just
in some of the events, we're getting like 5 now instead of just like 1.
Oh.
You've got like Wonderland training that gave like 10 extra.
Yeah, and they're whale trapping way more because they're putting out the scroll purchase things out a lot more. I've noticed as well.
Yeah, I'm not buying those. There's no way.
No way. That's an actually burning your money. Spend X amount of dollars just to pull crystal balls? No, thank you.
Oh yeah, I didn't buy those at all.
Did you see my rant about it? I bought a pass, right? The league grants, and it gave 15 X moves, 15 X move draws.
Yeah.
You know what I got? My first draw was decent, right? It was like a few yellow shards. So that was progress towards. My other 2 were only purples, and it wasn't even X move shards. It was just merely food.
Oh no.
So in 15, I got like maybe 7 shards, and then the rest was just food to upgrade. And I know that it's been proven that when you get to a level 4 X move, it costs like 300 XP for a level, and that's when you need the food. But realistically, basically no one is at that level. And even then, leveling up X moves doesn't really do a whole lot. Like it gives like 0.1% extra HP every 3 levels or something. It is nothing to like worry about that you need.
Now, I did have a question. I think it was you, Flake, when you're like, I have low power. What gives your account high power?
Wait, what do you mean?
In general, like, how do you raise an account's power?
Wait, you mean team power or what?
The account power. Or personal power. Usually, all of it counts. It technically all goes to the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is just based on like the level you have, like the resonance or the temple level that you have, and also how much characters that you put into the limit break. Because at a certain point, gear basically doesn't give as much power as in early games does, but more towards the how much characters you have leveled up in the tower and what total levels you have unlocked.
Another thing that gives a lot of power is cars, because I just got rid of all of my SS cars on all of my units. I only have SSS cars, the rest is just gone. And I lost about 7 million power, and from 131 million account power to 124. Does it affect me? No, because I mean, unless you have SSS cars, honestly, in my opinion,
I mean, it does make sense, right? Because most of the cars is like a percentage boost instead of a flat boost. So I don't know if it's like one flat rate, but if your account level or your character level goes up, I think the boost is more stronger.
Yep.
So cars should be focused on if you're raising.
Cars should be focused on by any player.
Oh yeah.
Cars are make or break characters. Like
So-
there is no character that you're like looking at that isn't a support, of course, and even like most supports want their cars. That you're like, okay, this character does not need the cars.
That's the actual one of the topics Tix brought up that we should talk about is cars versus fighting spirits, or not versus, but just cars and fighting spirits and stuff like that as an overall.
They both go way too hand in hand. You need both.
You
can't be strong with just
so
cars.
I understand you need both. So initially, the way it started was, we were talking about Dalton, and I was like, for me, I felt that his fighting spirit was more important than his cars because of how I play with Burn, and Sovius and Tix was just like, no, it's just not that way, and I was just like, I was trying to understand why, and I was asking questions. They broke down the math, and if you care for damage and scalability in that instance, the cards are hands down better than the fighting spirit because of
For Dalsim especially, yeah.
Yeah,
Dalsim's
just
cars
with the
make the
numbers
character.
alone, it was just like, here, this is what it was. So there was no way to, you can't count the numbers in that instance. So it opened my eyes to how important cards were, because I knew cards were important. Everybody's like 6-6 this, 3-6 this, Beast Zangief is one of the perfect examples of how he much more important he becomes regular Zangief with his counter Bison, so on and so forth. Cards are just super important, but they, like how you said, they do go hand in hand. But you know how like there's always a competition, which one is more important if you're putting resources and time and stuff like that. I'm just now finding out cards are what you should be focusing on even from the beginning of the game. Just start prepping for the cards. Even
once
if
you
you
get
don't
one
unlock
SSS,
it. Yeah, once you start getting exactly one SSS, you're already in the car lot.
So like a character like Guile, where do you think you should prioritize? Getting that FS30 for Saber to not go away, or are you getting at least 3 car?
I would say FS30.
I would also say FS30 because the Saber stacks, it stacks up to 5 times, right? But every Saber stack ignores defense, and when you just have plus 20 or even plus 29, you will lose those stacks when you cast your combo tree.
Yeah,
and that decreases your damage by like half.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you get your stacks, your cars, sorry, that's just like the 3 out of 6 is really good because it increases the rate of you getting cars, you getting your Saber stacks, and also helps you keep the stacks up because that's a really common misconception about Gal. Gal can lose his stacks even at FS plus 30, which is when he didn't proc his passive, his Saber passive to reset the cooldown, and they just expire because after 15 seconds, they're gone.
Yeah. That's kind of why I brought him up, because like I agree, like his FS30 is definitely more important, but he's one of those characters where his FS I think would take priority over.
By the way, also about Gal that I want to bring up about his cars. I had a long conversation with Pika about this. Armor break and his defense ignore are separate things. So let's say you break down 50% of his of their armor with your armor pen, and then do the defense down. It is way more than you would expect. It's like 5% HP is left. It's not like 45% you reduce offset 50% that's remaining. No. It adds up. So the 10%, the 10 armor stacks, armor break stacks you bring up is minus 50%, and then also like what is it? That 7 stacks, which is 6 out of 6, is 49 defense down. They have 1% defense left. So basically, you're dealing true damage the whole time.
Yeah,
which is just mind-boggling to me. This is why Gal is that broken, by the way. The devs didn't think. I don't think this is a known thing by the devs. I don't know if it's intended or not, but this is what makes Gal so broken.
Yeah, I mean you can add like other means to reduce the defense. Some other characters like E Honda or I think free to play casual mentioned Hugo reduces defense. It's not consistent at all. I wouldn't recommend his cards at all. But yeah, there's other means to go even beyond like true damage into I mean like instead of like zero defense, like even into the negatives.
Yeah, but watch out, we've gone into the negatives. We've all experienced Evil Ruse event, and we all know what happens then. Free to play start dealing 22 billion damage, then you know it's wrong. But yeah.
I mean, going for cars and FS, I think one good example of ones that work synergistically together. Well, instead of Gal also works synergistically together, but Viper's one especially, like when you transfer all the armor energy to everyone else, they also have a chance to get the shield when they proc 40% HP because of the cars. So once you have like 5 energy for maybe your tank, and then your tank reaches 40%, they get 40% shield, HP shield, and that's only gained from both her FS30 and also her 6/6 car.
And also it gives energy. Keep that in mind as well.
That's pretty huge actually. 50 per armor stack, so that's 250.
But I think there are a lot of characters that need both the plus 30 and the 6/6. You look at units like Trendy Kami, you look at Akuma, you look at even Dalsim to an extent. What else? I think Blanca doesn't really
don't know.
need to
Like
curse.
personally, in my soul, I still vouch for. I still feel like his fighting spirit is more important. But numerically, as a damage guy, I get it. But like, I'm all about the burn, and to me, that's more important.
I mean,
I think
every stat in the game goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, I mean for cars, it's more easy to get it maxed rather than fighting spirit. So it depends on how you manage your resources, because I mean for a whale you can just buy cars, you can buy fighting spirit. So it depends on where you spend your money. But for free to play players or low spenders, they have to like, okay, I'm gonna spend like early game, I'm gonna spend more on cars, and then now since I'm quite reasonable with what I have right now for the main team, you can start to I'm gonna focus on fighting spirit now, or you can focus on other means. But then definitely going simultaneously. Okay, I'm focusing on fighting spirit and cars and this all at the same time.
It
Can
makes
be
it
quite
harder.
hectic.
Yeah, it definitely makes it harder.
So it depends on how you spend it, right? Like, and the order you spend it. Like, it is not bad to go, buy 3,000 gems for 20 fighting spirit boxes, and then you can transition to cars, or you can do it vice versa. Do cars first, and then you spend it on the FS boxes, because you need both of them, right? And like there is no end goal. Like once your FS is finished, everyone's FS is finished. There's characters that go up to plus 40. Yeah. And if you buy cars, right? And cars are like more harder to finish. You can get like 20% stats on everything, right? So investing in those doesn't have negative effects. So for example, you start buying the for the EXP grants. I made a mistake by going EXP or other means. Maybe if you're a spender, it doesn't really matter. But in EXP, going for EXP in those grants rather than cars or other things, at a certain point, you're not going to need EXP as much, or it's going to hinder you in the sense, well, for free to play, right? You're going to reach that maximum point. Like for my food right now, I'm waiting on either characters or food. Those means there is a cap. There's an end goal. Like if you even if you limit break to the maximum, you like look over here, it's up to 585 levels, or I don't know if it's 5,885 levels, but I assume it's 585 level is the cap. So at a certain point there is a cap. But cars, actually there is a cap for cars, but it's more harder to reach. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, just the fact that cars at the moment still are a pretty low percentage. Like even after they buffed it, you still only get one every 16 summons is the average, one every 16, one every 17. Keep that in mind, you need 6 cars to finish a character. That on its own, if you're lucky and you get it once every 17 or faster, you have 8 characters in your wish list. It also needs to be that specific character out of the 8.
Yep.
So getting a 6 out of 6, especially as a free-to-play, I don't know how Tixit did this Voodoo Magic. He has like one less 6 out of 6 than me, and he just spent $2,000 less. Like, I don't know.
Dombuka can vouch how.
Yeah,
he's hacking.
So I
don't share it. I know. Don't share it.
Yeah.
Don't share it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Don't share it.
I've blown up in the last.
I also did. Don't worry. But
I have a question though. So Turtle, you're talking about Dalzim's FS30, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna say you're in a situation where you have Bison at FS20, you have Dalzim at FS20. Say you've already got Sim's cars or whatever, but you use Sim in your Bison team. Who are you doing first, Sim or Bison?
Sim.
Interesting.
I did Sim first. Yeah, I did. That's exactly how I did it. That's what your situation is exactly.
Yeah.
So I pulled Bison early, like chapter 10 early, and then I used him. I accelerated my story, and with Dalsum, I got him day 1. So like I was just like, all right. The moment I got a copy of him, he was in my team, and so they were both on my team. I would like to say maybe within the first week, and I pushed them equally in fighting spirit. Equipment, not so much. Dawson was my primary DPS, so I equipped him. Bison was there, slowly getting equipped, but like fighting spirit, they were both at 20. And then when I started getting the elemental box, Dawson was my first one. No questions asked. I even though everyone was like Bison life changing, this, that, and the third, even till this day, for me, I still don't know I don't feel the impact of Bison's Fighting Spirit 30 versus notably seeing the impact of Dawson's Fighting Spirit 30. And that could also be an issue of animation and stuff like that. And like no way of seeing triggers. Because with Dawson, I see the numerical burn stacks and I see the animation that they add on top of it. Versus Bison non-animation for me.
I think you might be okay. So for Dalsim, I mean Dalsim and Fashion Blanca uses Bison's plus 30 pretty effectively because they do a lot of multi hits, especially with Fashion Blanca C2. So the numbers that you see, it could also be the shadow attacks that you see it as burn. I mean burn does pretty good as well.
Yeah, because every tick is going to show up as a shadow attack in the same thing. Yeah. So like you think you're like doing crazy burn, but it's burn and shadow attack, which is why I'm asking.
Well, I'm not talking about numerically as in damage. I'm talking about numerically as in stacks. So that's what I'm saying. Like animation wise, I don't see the Bison damage, and I personally don't go into the stats to look numerically. So that's the other thing. I'm just looking at what I can visually see. And animation wise, Bison doesn't have one, so I can't see the. That's why I'm saying I don't see the impact. I just know. I'm not saying that it doesn't do it. I'm not saying that at all. I do know that my damage has slightly increased, or I'm not gonna say slightly. I noticed my damage has increased when I got his Fighting Spirit 30. What I'm saying is the impact of it, I felt more for Dawson. That's all I'm saying. It's just like if it's kind of I don't know how I say explain it. It's like when you see a car go 0 to 60, one does it a little bit faster than the other, and you're like, oh, that one, the faster one's a little bit more cooler. That's how it felt for me. It's just like when I'm seeing the stacks go from like again, I'm seeing Dalton every day from day one. When the moment I see his C3 and I unlock it, I'm like, okay, I'm getting like 3 to 4 stacks of burn. That's cool. It does a lot of damage. That's cool. But then when I see and unlock his fighting spirit 30, and I go from with Fashion Blanca, and I go from 3 to 4 stacks to burn to 8 to 12 stacks to burn consistently, I'm just like, I like that. And I see it and feel it more than anything else. And that's why I say I play different. Like that to me is satisfying. And the way I explain it, this is me caveman explaining it. I do a combo. Let's say it's Dawson, Elena, Fashion Plus Dawson. That's the most highest damage output of my rotation, and it will get me 6 stacks of burn normally. And with the stacks of burn, for me, I feel as if it's doing enough. It may be half or up to another full rotation amount of damage. So in my mind, one rotation with Dalsum, Elena, Fashion Blanca, Dalsum, that counts as 2 combos for me because of burn. That's how I think of it. Because of how much damage burn does, it almost equates to what the full combo does on its own. I'm probably wrong and I'm like thinking about it wrong, but that's just how I feel.
All I can say about Dawson is that I upgraded him now to FS plus 20. Well, he's now at plus 28, of course. But I had him 6 out of 6 for a while, right? The second I got him to plus 20, I went from Flame Tower 250 to 262. And I can actually try pushing more now because I still have attempts left. But Dalsim, like I think wave level 258 or 259 was a Bison team, right? And you know how bad AoEs and stuff versus it. I blew that wave up. Yep. It took me 2 attempts to clear a full Bison wave. And keep in mind, that Bison was level 400. I'm level 353, which is arguably also very high.
Yeah.
Dawson's one of the only units where you can tell he levels up. He literally goes from like Super Saiyan 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's like he's the only one where I actually felt every impact of like from 120.
I think Dalsim is a better late game, could be a better late game DPS than Gal if you have the right team built around him. Gal also needs team built around him, but the nice thing about Gal is that it's fairly straightforward. You just use all your coins in wind, like the factional coins, because you need Abel at some point. You'll need a Zangief. You'll need Street Poison. Guess what? They're all wind units. And I've proven it's also on my free-to-play. It's day 5, and I'm at stage 23. By just summoning in wind. Which
exactly.
Just that faction is so broken. Also, I blew up Reddit because no Redditor believed me when I like shared the screenshots of me being free to play. Because I'm gonna make a video account on my account tomorrow, by the way, if everything is fine, and it's also going to do like a few hundred summons because I've been saving some up for my progression.
If Tix gets to that point, I don't know if he's there yet, but
to what point?
To counter what you're saying, where Gal is slightly better than Dawson, I'm gonna wear my biasness proud. I think Dawson is the best, and
I think
the reason
Dawson
why
and Gal for sure are the 2 best free to play DPS. By the way.
Okay. I don't know.
You want to talk about this because you're a little bit more versed in explaining it.
I mean, I have experience with both because I use them in the 2 teams fight. One of them is Dawson, one of them is Gal. But what's so good with Gal and what's also so good, I'll touch upon both of them. But I mean, with Gal, you have it plays in with other win characters super nicely. So I mean, with Dalsim, you can't really stack with Street Poison stacks because you play super slowly and you stack your own way. and in normal challenge mode, right? It's easy just to put combo 2 from Bizangief into combo 3 from Gal, like immediately. And with Gal's defense shred, he inflicts normal armor break and he gets his own saber stacks. So you basically almost get ignore most of the high content defenses, but in a similar sense, just because how well he pairs with the other win units, I don't know if it gives him the slight edge. But Dalsim, I mean, if you know how to play with him, like building his stacks and everything, definitely he can hold up. Just because I think Burn, I don't know if it's true, but Burn also does true damage, right? So I mean, in the end, both of them is pretty strong. If I do want to say who might be stronger to push, if everyone's maxed, right? Like Gal's maxed, Dalsim's maxed, I think Dalsim might be better just because he procs the shadow attack from Bison so much. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's quite noticeable. Yeah, okay. Sylph says Dalsim. I kind of agree just because he pairs super well with Bison. And I mean, after he stacks at a certain point, you can get the benefits from Bizangief Scar, the 60% increased damage. So it is not like, okay, you're not going to get the 60% increased damage because you are trying to maximum stack. But at a certain point, when you have like 50 stacks, 40 stacks, and then you start to combo 2 with Bizangief and then combo 3 with Dalsim immediately, you get that benefit anyways.
He also pairs with Fashion Blanca, like because I know you're talking Bizangief as a non-Bizangief user. His best friend is Fashion Blanca in many terms of fire stacking, multiple hits for Bison. The synergy is not so. I'm not there with maximum fighting spirit 30, but maybe someone who has Fashion Blanca at fighting spirit 30 could talk more on the wildfire.
Yeah, I do.
Well, does the wildfire impact? Like, do you feel it impact on the wildfire? Because I notice every now and again a spinny ball around my Dalsum and Fashion Block, and I'm like, okay, cool. But like, I'm not like, oh my god, it's amazing. But
so what I'm gonna say is there is a reason why both me and Lodge are permanently top 10 in Evil Abyss, and that is because we pair our trendy Cami with Fashion Blanca. We use Fashion Blanca C2 only to give trendy Cami the Wildfire, because if Wildfire procs on, let's say, Dalsim's C3 or trendy Cami C3, you deal double damage basically. It's actually nuts. I've shown this to Pika in a like VOD review, and I've explained to him how it works. And I swear, plus 30 Blanca, it is not a DPS anymore. It's a support as well.
yeah,
Because of the sheer amount of damage you give your team.
Him. I'm at Fighting Spirit 28 with him. He's gonna be my third one. I did Dawson first, Bison second, and he's gonna be my third. I'm
telling you, you will be so happy once you have that plus 30.
Because that's what I was saying. Because like they synergize well. Like when it happens, I'm like, ooh, cool, chef's kiss. But I'm not at a point where it happens often. And so outside of that, the combos also, because I use Elena, you could do Dalsum, Elena, fighting Fashion Blanca, Dalsum. You could do Blanca, Elena, Blanca, Dalsum. You could do Dalsum, Blanca, Elena, Dalsum. Just notice you're always ending on Dalsum. That never changes. And because if one or the other dies, so let's say Blanca dies, Bison takes over his spot in the combo, so you can still Dalsum, Bison, Elena, Dalsum. And if Dalsum dies, you can still take over with Bison, and now your rotation goes Blanca, Bison, Blanca, Elena, I'm sorry. Blanca, Elena, Blanca, Bison. And that's your combo. So you're just constantly keeping a rotation all the way to the end to the C3, regardless of who dies, if it happens. So that's where I'm like, Fashion Blanca and Dawson are best friends for life.
One thing I'm gonna tell you is though, start with Dawson's active and don't start with Fashion Blanca's active unless you need to group them all together.
Yeah,
Because,
no,
without-
my main one for damage is always going to be Dawson first.
But I do have to admit, if you like use your first combo with Blanca, and you knock them back by a significant amount that they're all clamped up, and then you always use your Dawson combos, it will hit every single ability of Dawson will hit everyone. And it will be so much damage. Like, you don't understand how good fucking Fashion Blanca is, man. Like, I don't get, to this day, I don't get how they would release this character to everyone.
Well, I think it was purpose because of how good he is. Like, think about it like this.
I think it wasn't.
Let's think about it like this. Besides Guile and Dawson, let's say they don't know about this, and your casual players are not the tryhards as we are. They're not in the know, right? And they're playing the game. They're struggling. It's kind of hard or whatever. And then wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Fashion Blanca unlocks for them. And then now they go from their stucky levels to like 1540, and now they got Bison. And now they're going to making it 20, 25, whatever. Now they're coming into the Reddit. Now they're coming into the Discord. Hey, I'm stuck at 18, 20. You know, Fashion Blanca got me here. I got the Bison. What do I do next?
You know what our advice is for those people?
That sounds like it was planned. That's all I'm saying.
You know what our advice is to those people? And it's like not even joking. You might as well restart your accounts if you haven't spent.
Why?
Because you missed out on so many resources already that unless you really don't care about progress, but if you're coming here and you're like, I'm stuck, I need help, you do care about it, right?
I mean, but I would assume at that point you're too far in. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is that you're hooked and sinking in. Where at one point where if let's say you're at chapter 20, you're gonna do all that all over again.
Yeah. If you're more than a month in, you missed out on every single milestone rewards. Your account is very subpar, and also just keep in mind the thing you are forgetting about is if it's been more than a month and you've just gotten to stage 20, all the extra shop upgrades, all the event things you got, like the boost stone kits, the +1, the +2 chest, you missed out on all of that. So is your account really that progressed? Because that's progress that I've made within 5 days. I know that the casual player won't do this, of course, but I know for a fact that there is a lot of people out there that like think they're far progressed at stage 16, which is probably the intended part of the game. Don't get me wrong, if Bizang wasn't this broken, the game would be way harder for everyone. 1 second.
Not really. It's really not that hard. I'm on chapter 32 without Bizang. So
you should start using it, bro.
Nope. I refuse. I refuse. That's what I'm saying. Like, it. I guess it's the definition. What your definition of hard is like. I'm here. I'm at 32 now. Versus you guys probably being in 36, 40, or whatever for how much time? Like, how long have you guys been at the spots that you're at now?
Okay, I mean, I see your point, right? You're trying to say that at a certain point you're gonna hit a wall, and then we're both just idling at the same time, you know. And I'm playing the way I want, so it doesn't really matter. But you need to get to 33-20 to get the discounted guild gear. At least do that.
I'm almost there. I'm on 3240. When I beat that, I'll let you know.
Oh my gosh, guild gear is huge. Absolutely huge, that discount.
Yeah, it's like a buy 3, get 1 for free if you buy it normally from the non-discounted price.
I just refuse to sell my soul to beef. I would never do it. I'll never do it.
Just use someone else's beast, and it's not like okay. There's it's guilt free, you know.
Nope. No, it is not. No. Nope. I am a stubborn Puerto Rican. My GP, nope. I will not. I will die before I use them. Never. I haven't built. I have 4 out of 6 cars at Fighting Spirit 20.
You can just borrow mine.
I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I know how good he is.
Plus 4.
I know how good he is.
Just borrow mine.
Nope. But I will never use him. You know what? Let me rephrase this. It may be years down the line before I use them. That I'll put it. But for now, at this point, I don't plan on ever using him. I have him built, and he's just there. He's a trophy. He's a trophy wife, and I also have him built out of spite. So I could tell people I have him built, but I don't use them. Just so I can middle finger everybody and laugh while I sit on my yoga throne with Dawson. That's why I do it.
Okay,
by the way.
Sir Turtle. Like, okay, when you hit 2 teams, would you use him?
Nope.
Or in Wind Tower, would you use him?
Nope. The only time I ever use him is if he's an assist. That's the only time. Because assist.
Would you use him on auto?
Huh? I use him on auto on my free to play. That's the only way I use him.
Yeah. Okay.
On my free to play, I just broke I just broke 240, and I was stuck on chapter 24. So I use Abel, Guile, Beast Zangief, Elena, and I auto it. I never manual, but I do use Beast Zangief. So he'll interrupt whenever he feels like it. RNG will be on my side. It got me to 24. And then I broke 240, and I have it recorded. It's about to, I think it's up. I'm going to put it up. An hour and a half long. I just consecutive play, and it took me all the way to 2719. So 240, I got to level 285 or something like that, and it completed 3 whole chapters for me. No, I'm not mad. No, I'm not dumb. I know he upgrades the damage 60%. I know he does the stun. I'm not dumb to what he does. Just off GP, just because he's meta and everyone uses him, I ain't about it.
I mean, that's
respectable.
Get this away from.
If you like do it willingly, then sure. But there's a lot of people that don't know about it. And that was my point, right? I couldn't finish it last time. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to progress this game. When I've showcased this, I have 7 people at the moment in my DMs asking me for help constantly.
Solo does it. Solo does it all the time. I don't know how to say his name from the actual Discord. Nicholas Schwab, I don't know how whatever, but he's doing it. He's shown the E Honda interrupt. He's shown the Dudley interrupt. Like, he's in almost chapter 40 or whatever. I don't even know what number he's in now. He's just so...
He's in 39, 36, I think.
Yeah, he said he doesn't want to push to 40 yet. So he's taking his time. Even though he's pushing hard, he's taking his time. I don't know how that works. But he's like, oh, yeah, I have an interrupt on every team. And he's banging it out. And I'm just like, my guy, you are like some next level stuff. But he's up there. So,
I mean, here's the thing with NCA. I don't know how the hell, because he helps the community from day one, right? And he's still helping them strong. Like, I've lost my motivation to help others. I mean, in the sense of just like typing and just helping them, because at a certain point, it's so repetitive to just say the same shit over and over that it becomes super dull.
Yeah,
I think we really should just make a message with like the few people that like help constantly about what the tricks are in this game, and just pin it in game strategy.
Yeah, we should make an infograph actually. Like in AFK Arena, they have infograph on like, okay, you should focus on this, and then maybe make these characters SSS plus first. I mean SS first, like Bison.
But the problem with that is everyone has an opinion, and no one will follow what you say. And
I mean, okay.
the reason why I say
But
that,
if they
hold
don't
on,
follow what we say, then
but
we
that's
can
the
just say
thing.
we
Hold
try
on.
to help them, right?
Here's the thing. The reason why I say that is because we technically already have that in Player's Guide. I'm putting up everything you guys are doing. So the ticks how to feed guide is there. I have a general guide of like what costs what, who costs what. Everything is there. It's open. The Google Doc is there. I have the quote unquote community tier list, which I do need to update with the new units, but it is from the community. You guys, like you guys tell me, put Gao up, put Chun Li down, put this person up, and I do it, and it's all there. But there, it's quote unquote opinion, and no one reads, and no one listens, and no one bothers. That's the problem.
Wait, Sir Turtle. I think there might be a reason why people don't see it, because before going into these voice chats, I didn't even have the tick for the player's guide, because I think you have to go to the settings and then you have to configure notify player's guide or something like that, and then I start seeing them. So I think most of the low attraction comes from people not knowing how to access it.
I mean, we've changed it multiple times to make it easier.
Okay.
I could probably bring it up again to Dino and see, but like this is how they want to handle it, where like people when they come in they get to choose what they want to see. They're just not choosing.
A thing that happened for me when I joined the Discord way back when was I couldn't see every chat that is available in the Discord. For example, the exchange code chat was hidden for me and I couldn't like find it. The creator content was added later, but I never got a note that was actually a channel. I just knew it was a role, to be honest. But all of that stuff, I think it's not that great of a decision. I get why, right? You don't want to be cluttered because there's already so many chats in this Discord.
Yeah. But I mean, the way when you come into the server, it asks you what would you like to yes or no to. That's the other thing is people are not selecting yes to all of it. They're just selecting yes to one, and then it blocks the rest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, some people aren't clicking that. They just like click to get into the Discord, immediately come to the I need help, and it's like, bruh, you had the option.
Yeah, so that's where it's like, it like I understand what you guys are saying, but it's there, it's implemented. It's just people don't read. And look, people click first, ask questions later. It's just how it is. They shoot first, ask questions later. And then they're like, all right, who did I kill? Then they're like, maybe you should unmask him because you just killed your brother. And they're like, Billy, why? How could I have done this? I don't know. If you would have asked questions, you wouldn't have done it. Just, you know. Sorry for the rant.
Like that. Hey, I fed this guy to this guy. Was that a good idea? No.
Oh no! Yeah, why did I do that? They fed him Zhang, and it's
yeah.
Bro, I have this guy in my DMs, right? Like, this was one of the people we told to like reset his account because it was just at a point that like was no point in actually like continuing the account. Like it was way weaker than I even described. I'm like now explaining him how to interrupt and stuff. And he was like, please come play free to play with me, even though he's an AI and we couldn't play together, of course. But it's like, make an alt account. And this is the reason why I started my free to play account, by the way. He was like, I bet I can beat you in progress. And that guy is currently on stage 12. I'm on stage 23 progressing still. And I started a day later, but I just want
to.
The thing about this game that a lot of people don't realize. Knowledge is so insane in this game. Everyone thinks, okay, just a mobile game. You have auto modes. There is no skill in this game. Oh, there's a lot of skill in this game.
Not true.
Yeah, I think that's what keeps players around. Is just how intricate this game is.
From a coding perspective, it's fucking shit.
I know nothing of coding, so I can't.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Pix, never mind. It wasn't you. It was Ember that did it. Never mind.
Okay.
I agree. I think the skill ceiling in this game is extremely high once you actually get into it. Like some of the stuff Solo's doing to get to 40-40 is absolutely insane. And like even just run to run when you're doing bosses, like you really can add like double your damage just by like paying attention and knowing what you're doing.
Hey,
And
Turtle.
not playing auto.
Yo.
They say anything on chapter 42?
Huh?
Is there going to be a chapter 42?
Probably eventually, but I mean,
when people get there.
I mean, they released chapter 41 pretty quick. That's why I was kind of curious.
A couple of things could be they are waiting to see if anyone gets there. They don't know yet, or it's in the plans. I don't know. I wish I was in on the inside team. I would let everybody know all the stuff. That's probably why I'm not on the inside team. I'll blab those to the world. But I mean, it could be anything. I don't know. Normally, the last time someone got there, that they did it immediately. They just wasn't aware someone was
already
there.
people there, by the way.
Oh, so then they
there's a lot of
probably
people
know.
there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like most of the big whales already are at 4140, and the reason why they can't progress further is because the stage has level 1.5k. It's level 1500.
yeah. So it's an artificial block to stop you from being able to go through.
Yeah, so they're probably setting
40
it
was
up
the
at
same
some
way.
point.
Yeah.
So pretty much
Artificial blocks.
whales can't progress further.
Yeah, so they're probably doing it on purpose. They're waiting to see what's happening. I'm assuming that's my assumption. It only makes sense how they've been handling everything so far.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Need more card dupes for Dalsim.
That's the way.
308.
I don't know what you're saying on him for. Me and Turtle been working on Dalsim since before all y'all.
Yeah, day one, baby.
Hey, look, I was playing Chun, okay? Chun is holding
I was
down.
playing Chun too, Boogish. We still. I was working on both, honestly.
I'm now building Chun. She's now passively getting.
Damn! You see, you missed out on all the Chun adventures.
I did miss out on Chun. No, but the thing is
See,
I also
now,
built Gaia.
in the higher chapter, she kind of lost her flavor. Like in the beginning, she was just speed running through everything.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Emryo's so OP on Guild Shadowlands. Watch this. One thing at a time dies." I'm like, "Okay, watch this. Ult 18 tiers go away in one click." And I'm like, "Yeah, what are you talking about?"
Same thing as with Fashion Blanca's combo story and stuff. Also, I was gonna say something, but I completely forgot it.
I have a okay. Turtle.
Yo.
Like for the Path of Fire thing, like the one where we talk about Mad Ryu and Chun-Li. If you use those EX moves for the early waves, and then you use C1 for Dalsim, you get so much stacks early. Like the stacks build up so high that once you reach to the higher waves, you basically just tear through them with one C3. It's actually okay. You should try it. It's pretty fire. So you do like 3 C1s for Dalsim. Maybe you put like a Street Poison and Fei Long, and then at the point when you have like 60 stacks or 50 plus stacks, you have enough supers to stack Poison with the current stacks of Dalsim, and it actually goes mental.
Yeah, I gotta try it. I actually have to try playing him on manual more often.
Yeah. I mean, C1. When you use C1, you basically the C2 goes down super slow because his animation for C1 is super long. So you can prolong or you can artificially get your super up while you're still doing the C1.
And then I like to use Chun-Li's EX to keep things going too. With the little drone hitting.
I'm just trying to find an easy way to beat stage 38 because Solo hasn't really shared what he used for that, so it's like guessing game.
To use F Blanca.
Yeah,
Blanca.
I mean
Blanca and Honda. He's been using Honda for a minute.
38-8 is a triple team, boys. I can't just use Fashion Blanca for everything, sadly enough.
I mean, one of he has a Bison team. He has a Honda team. So like those are
the Dalsim team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has the Dalton team. So like, those are his 3 teams that he's been working on since like.
Yeah, but every wave is different, right? Because sometimes you just can't interrupt. And this wave also just
I
the
don't know,
second wave
man.
has a bison.
I,
It has a
I,
bison,
Oh,
man.
I
I-
gave up on the interruption, man. I've adapted to Counter Strike.
so he has one team right now: Dawson, Gen, Dudley, Hugo. He has a Bison, Ivu, Ashley Chun-Li, Rose, Fashion
Still
Blanca,
phase.
Sea Viper, Flame Chun-Li, E Honda,
About to slap you, Tix.
and
Don't say that.
Guile, Beast Zangief, Street Poison, Abel. Those are his 4 teams that he has.
Oh, don't say it. Okay.
Go, be Sangif, Abel.
That's fair. I mean, I use Bison also for.
So
Damn, that gal's getting a lot of protection in that one team.
So yeah, so from my understanding, when he's sharing this information and I'm asking him a whole bunch of questions, each team has at least 1 interrupt, regardless of whether it's frontline, AoE, whatever. He, from my understanding, he plans accordingly to the enemy team based on the how he can interrupt or if he can outspeed and damage. And with survivability. So from my understanding, survivability is underrated by a lot of people. And when you get to a part where 4 teams are there and you don't have the heals for everyone, you don't have the AoE stuns for everyone, you have to figure out a way on how to survive. So if you're looking at each team, he has a way to survive. He has Team 1, Round 1, Dalsum, DPS, Gen is just Gen, Dudley is his interrupt, Hugo has some sneaky ass heals that he can do. Team 2, Bison is Bison.
By the way, Gen can also interrupt.
Oh, there you go. Gen can also interrupt. Thank you. Team 2, Bison being Bison. Evil Ryu, from my understanding, is nuts too. Athlete Chun-Li, people can speak on her survivability, and Rose is Rose. So he has 2 survivability and 2 damage dealers on Team 2. Team 3, Fashion Blanca, as we are now knowing, he's a support, he's a tank, he's a DPS. We have Sea Viper, DPS. Flame Chun-Li, Armor Pen is nuts. People sleep on Armor Pen. Armor Pen is nuts. It's just fancy way of saying armor break. That's just it. And then E Honda. My personal opinion, E Honda is the second best tank in the game after Bison. That he's just really freaking good.
Sagat.
Well, yeah, I don't have Sagat. He's only been out for 3 days. So, you know, I if someone has a triple S Sagat with 6 cards and they can speak on it, speak now.
Okay, for me, Sagat, you also gotta keep in mind he's balanced, and some characters like AH Kent goes in front of him, right? And you know it plays.
Yeah, that's you.
It plays into limitations for characters you can use, but it's not like okay, because you cannot use it there, it's gonna break it. It's just there's some restrictions. It's not like it's gonna be bad. It's just okay, you know, it doesn't
changes
work with
the dynamic.
you.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic of how you think on the team. Because you don't want Evil Ryu in front of Sagat. I mean, for the most part, at least I don't think you do. But and then his 4th team is the standard Guile team. Guile with his best friends Beast Zangief, Abel, who's I think is the 3rd best tank in the game. The shields people, especially with 6/6 and Fighting Spirit 30, you're getting like 4 to 5 shields in one combo if you do Abel, someone else, Abel, and then Guile or whatever. Because Abel gives free shields on crit, Abel gives free shield when he starts the map, and then his free shield bounces after every 2 hits at max. So it doesn't go away, it just keeps bouncing from unit to unit. And then Street Poison for damage. So survivability, DPS, some form of interrupt, and some form of support on all 4 teams.
Yep. I mean, it's basically just standard team comes with different units, right? Because
yep,
Yeah, I mean, in the interrupt sense, right? Like sometimes you can with Bison with other characters, you can just cheese your way of not taking damage if it's mostly single target or something like that. So you don't need to rely on interrupts. And I think there's like more reasons why how toxic we know toxic glove is crazy good. You can just break the combo chain if they rely on the combo one, or just to soak up all the damage in general. So using street poison not for C1, maybe C2 also might be a good play to push higher deficits.
Like right now, Menace just shared he beat chapter 36-8. Viper, Bison, East Angie, Street Poison.
Yeah, Kyle and what's her name? Viper are pretty interchangeable. Of course, Gal's skills way better into the PvE late game, but then when it comes to bosses and PvP, Viper, in my opinion, has the edge because Viper is a way more standalone character in PvP, and also just in bosses she deals a way more reliable damage.
Yeah, Viper is the assassin. Like when I'm in PvP and I see a Viper on the enemy team, I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, my butt clenches because I normally have Abel on Dawson because of that. So it's either she gets through my shields and nukes Dawson, or Dawson survives because of his dodge and the shield, and then then she's dead. Those are the two outcomes. Either she nukes me, or I will survive and then thus nuke her.
I feel like a broken record constantly mentioning Genesis, but Genesis.
But the thing is, you need an SS gun.
He doesn't have interrupt on Flame, so what does he do for Flame?
Wait, what?
Genesis against Viper? The Viper ult goes on the clone. It keeps their backline safe the whole time.
I don't have
Gen is really good. Yeah. But the thing is,
like he falls off against the higher stuff at deficit because those Vipers can actually one-shot the clone, proc the passive, and then the second hit will kill the clone. But in PvP, C Vipers can't really do anything to it. It kind of stymies them completely.
Yep. That's also why I bought the League Rent 2 Gen copies.
Again, so yeah, that's gonna be a minute.
For the beautiful price of $25, you can obtain 2 Gen copies in the League Rent.
I mean, you want to lend me money? Sure, I'll get it with that. Until then, I got one copy again.
I've got 4 Gen copies, and 2 of them are from the last League Rent, and 2 of them are from this League Rent. I've never summoned for him in my life. But yeah.
I got one, and I don't even remember how I got him.
Probably regular Johnson.
Yeah, and it's only good against Vipers or Coon.
Also, one thing that I want to share about Gen's assist is once Gen's clone that he like summons on the battlefield, which is his assist, dies, it is gone for good. It does not respawn. Which is something that people don't realize about his assist, and especially in campaign. Once it's dead, it's gone.
Yeah, no, I thought that was like.
No, a lot of people asked why doesn't my Gen return when I like he's in my assist.
Oh.
Yeah, Gen and his clone, if they're in the same, like if Gen is in the main team and you deal damage to his clone, it also transfers to the main Gen. They both share the same HP bar. Up Turkey. Because that's what Turkey said.
They also increase each other's HP by being on the field at the same time as well. Yep. So it's kind of like you have 2 health bars that you have to get through, but you're killing both characters at the same time. However, they both individually have death passives.
Does anyone have a Vega built out?
I don't. I have 1 copy from Draws. Oh, also, you know what's crazy about Vega that Solo told me? His flame is a fighting spirit gives him speed, right? At plus 30, the speed isn't maxed out. There is actually a chance that you need to plus 40 him before you get to the 20 speed it gives. Solo thinks it's around plus 35, but yeah.
That's insane.
Anyways, I have to do something real quick. I'll be right back.
because I'm working on Vega Active Bison as my div pool. I just want to know, like, I feel like people just dismissed him so fast, and no one's really bothered or built with him.
Oh, a small shout out while I have everyone's attention. I think 4 other people are currently working on the community wiki. If you have time and would like to help, it would save us all a crap ton of work.
Oh, and that's also a good thing for Reddit. We are now, I know we mentioned before, we would be working with the smaller subreddit, but we finally got in communication with the larger subreddit. So now we are promoting and working hand in hand with the official, I wouldn't say official, but with Flash Street Fighter Duel, like the Reddit fully spelt out, the larger one. So that one will now be moderated more heavily. Things will be a little bit more clean. Hopefully, we're aiming for a less toxic community, and keep it kosher, where we keep it how we try to keep the Discord server clean and hand in hand. We're gonna do the same with the Reddit.
So it means you're getting rid of Bozo, who has his weekly, this is why this game is the worst thing to ever become a thing on Earth.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping the community will step up like it does in the Discord and say, hey, we really don't actually share that opinion, and maybe he'll quiet down all on his own.
Yeah, so
what his account? Yeah, he's not going to quiet down. I went through his history.
One thing I will say is I myself won't be heavily moderating the Reddit. I'm more of like what they told me, community manager liaison. I just basically be the fake dino there. Whatever information I get, I'm supposed to pass it on, let y'all know the sneak peeks and all that stuff like that. It will be up to Bookish and the other moderating team on Reddit to sheriff it and stuff like that. It's going to be with the staff wants everything to be ran by the community. So the staff has no hand in it whatsoever. I just want to throw that out there before people are like, oh my God, these are shows, this, down, the third. No, that's why it is the way it is. Bookish and the rest of the Mon team on Reddit, there's Shnoom, there's Kaiba, I think there's one more I'm not familiar with, but they're still the community. There's 3 of them that's still there from the beginning. Bookish is just the added muscle that works hand in hand with the Discord. He is not a mod for the Discord, but he is a helper, and he's constantly here sharing information the same way as Tix, Zangief, Solo, all these guys. They help and share information with the community, and that's how the relationship is going to be with each other. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So like Bookish is working on the wiki with other members. I'm helping him with screenshots and stuff like that. This is all community ran. We're just doing this as a passion for the game and for the community. So if anyone has a topic they want to talk about, anything they want to throw out, the floor is open.
Yeah, maybe like underrated characters or characters that we
do need to talk about second team. So give us a second team, Tix. What are you working on?
I will throw a little shout out to off tanks that work as surprisingly good tanks, like Fashion Sakura and Summer Yang. You look at them and you don't necessarily think tank, but if you can make a team comp that has them in the front position, they can do it pretty damn good.
Okay. What were you saying, sir?
No, I want to add to like off tanks and everything. What's a good second team? People are getting to the point where they're gonna need a second team. I like to throw caveats. No B Zangief, no Bison.
No B Zangief, no Bison?
Yeah.
Okay,
get that trash out of here. Use your muscles. Use your brain muscles.
Okay, so definitely it's gonna be harder because the consistency isn't there. So you might need maybe, I don't know if you need additional few levels. You probably do, because I was timing out in some of them. So around like level 305, 310 maybe you can push it, because I cleared it at level 300. But so okay, you don't want Bison and B Zangief. So in this second team, you could run someone like Abel. So you're gonna run the Guile comp even without the clumping. You can still run Guile, maybe Street Poison for the C2, and someone else for the C1, like Abel C1. And you basically interrupt using Poison C2 Love. So that's gonna be the non-Bison B-Zangief team. And for the Bison team, you're just gonna run the standard Fashion Blanca, Dalsim, E Honda. So you're gonna have Dalsim C3. E Honda definitely has to have the C1.
Elena.
C2 is for Elena. You can add as a backup, but you're not gonna use her in the combo rotation just because you're using you can mix and match, but you're either using C2 for Fashion Blanca or C2 for Elena. But that's probably going to be the team. Both of them has in the interrupt. I would put the interrupt for Toxic Love more towards the OG Poison team, or you can just interrupt using Dudley like other characters does, but maybe even Street Poison C2. So when you want to do the burst, you can instead use the C1 of Street Poison. But I mean, Bison and no Zangief, that's like 2 meta units, you know?
Well, yeah, so the reason why I say no Bison, no Zangief is because we know that there's going to be a team with them. So it's like,
yeah, definitely.
If we're going to keep suggesting Bison, Zangief, then that's not a second team. That's boring. So that's why I'm like, let's get them out of here. They don't exist in the game. Like,
so what I've done for the second team thing is I tend to try interruptless, and I will just go full bore DPS rotation. Like I basically throw a fire team at it and let Dalsim go nuts.
Yeah, so I counter to that. What about like a full tank team? Because on my on Thunder Tower, I do Thunder Tower. Wow, I can't speak. On Thunder Tower, I do Honda, Zangief, Emryu, and someone I forgot.
The issue with the double waves is that, in my experience, and the triple waves now, somehow your backline gets bursted. It doesn't matter how fight is going. One wrong move and your whole team is dead. And that's why a single DPS with full tank support is not ideal, because if your DPS dies somehow, which let's say 70 to 80% of the fights it does, and then in some other fights you'll just lag the damage because you don't crit. It's a double-edged sword, right? You have a tanky frontline, but if your DPS dies, your whole team is just useless, because Honda and the Zangief are not going to get you to the wave. Also, another point about that is there is only so many good tanks in the game. You've got Abel, you've got Zangief, you got Bison. What are you going to do? And you got Zangief, Abel, Honda, and Bison. I would not count Hugo as a good tank, because the issue with Hugo...
Solo has been mentioning Hugo recently. I'm reiterating what I've heard. I've not necessarily. I don't even own Hugo. Let me be clear.
Hugo is the sleeper.
I know why he thinks he's good, but the issue with
sleeper.
The issue with Hugo for me is that you need to cast abilities with Hugo to make him work, and you have to sacrifice.
Because he's basically like a meat shield. He has like the highest HP in the game. I think. Don't quote me on that, but just the
it's up there for sure.
Yeah, the potato stacks alone. You don't really need to squeeze in a C2 or C1 from him, but just the potato stack alone, he gets 30% damage reduction naturally from 3% for one potato stack. So you get 30% damage reduction. That's like a Zangief, negating all the Zangief passive, right? Just alone. So for him, just doing his sole purpose of just being a meat shield, he's definitely nice. But for him contributing towards the other teammate, you probably would need... you can use a C2, get other teammates to heal more, but realistically, you need someone else to heal to make that beneficial. So you need an Elena, right? But just alone, he's solely. I mean, Solo's probably solely using him just so then he can take a beating.
Well, you gotta remember that there's characters like Evil Ryu and Monster Hunter Ken. So Tix brought up a good point. Like you have to sacrifice skills in order for Hugo to tank, but there's characters that do their combos without needing to be prompted to do so. So I think in that regard, if you were building a second team and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get Hugo to work as my tank? Is like you don't have to look very far. If you have a Monster Hunter Can available or a Evil Ryu available, you can still activate Hugo's skills, but you could still create opportunities for damage with the other characters that do combos on their own.
Yeah, so like, is it a problem to because Blake was like, you have to use skills to make them good. Like, why is that bad?
In my opinion,
you lose auto damage.
You will notice it as you progress.
That's how the game works. There's an opportunity cost. Like the reason, okay, so the reason that that pretty boy Dudley, charming Dudley, sucks so much is because all of his kit is on his ultimate, and his ultimate is just not powerful. The numbers just aren't there. So like, yeah, the idea of making their heals heal your team is cute, and it could be powerful, but you have to dedicate so much of your bar that could literally just be someone else doing more for you. That's what makes characters weak.
I mean, like
you're filling in a role. Like you're just we're the observation is like if you had to make him work, where would it work? It's like, well, you're setting multiple teams, so it's not your first team, but it might be your team before your anchor team that you can hope to at least out tank it, or like, you know what I mean, stall out that second fight so that your third fight or your anchor fight is good.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree in the sense where you have you deploy 4 units, right? And you might to get full use of all 4 units, someone has to super, someone else has to C1, someone else has to C2, someone else has to C3, and it brought a good point. Like sometimes you don't, that one slot, the C1 or C2 or C3 never changes, right? But there are certain cases where, okay, some characters can benefit without being in the combo chain, like Bison, like MHCan, and other characters. Or they can just function outright, just solely for tanks, just to tank. But in an instance where, for example, you're using in a Thunder Tower, you're using E Honda and MRU, you generally do not want to. I mean, you can DPS, that's fine, but you can use E Honda's super for the damage reduction, and you basically take basically no damage at all. And as you chip down the enemy team, and instead of having four people that you're fighting, you're just fighting 3 people or 2 people. You can switch from E Honda's super into, okay, now I'm gonna change to MRyu super right now. This is just a scenario, right? Because the enemy's not outputting more damage, I'm now switching from more sustain to more damage output. So then that's how you switch combo rotations pretty well. But in the sense where, for example, you might need the survivability for someone Rosa's C2 or someone else's C2, right? But you then change it for someone else's C2, it could play a big role. I mean, that's how you use.
We have to be under the assumption that you're playing in manual to get the most efficiency. Solo says, believe it or not.
Play manual. Yeah.
Solo says, believe it or not, I've been using Hugo as tank on my 14 content ahead of Zangief and Mikado. Abel, Honda, and Bison only covered 3 teams. So Hugo is starting to become his 4th main tank.
The issue with Zangief that I've noticed myself is if Zangief does not have a healer, he falls over. Like, sure, his elemental damage resist it looks nice, but he's a way better assist than he's an actual tank, in my opinion. And I don't know if Solo agrees with that statement or not, but I like his assist. For me, does more than he does as a tank.
I mean, I like his usage for passive in PvP and maybe even in PvE contents. But I would say that Solo needs to freaking use Abel. Like, god damn it.
He does use
But he
Able.
uses Able.
He uses
He
Able.
does
That's
use
his-
Able.
That's his,
Yeah. He's not using Makoto and Zangief, he said. Able is
thought he
already on his second or third team, yeah.
Oh, gotcha,
Hugo
gotcha,
is
'cause
on his fourth.
I hear E Honda, I hear Bison, because Bison's can solo tank. And the other one was who was it?
He's
Hugo.
using Able, Honda, and Bison as his other three teams, and then he's using Hugo over Zangief and Makoto.
As his fourth. So Able and Zengi Able and Honda are still better overall than anyone else. That's why I'm like really looking forward to Balrog. And I'm like how Don said, it's gonna be interesting how it works because like Dudley doesn't work. But here's one caveat that I'm gonna throw out. I don't know if he's still doing it or using it, but Sion runs Makato, whatever her name is, as his primary tank. So I don't know what it's
So
yeah.
Makoto works special. She benefits, if I remember this correctly, I might be wrong and I might be thinking of a different character, but she benefits from having females on her team. Maybe this is the case, maybe it wasn't. I might be completely wrong. But the reason why I'm
increase all female team damage.
yeah, okay, that was it. So the thing about Makoto is it's a ramp up unit. Do you really want a tank that starts off really squishy? Do you really want that on your team? A tank that gets bursted in one combo, but if she manages to magically survive two combos, then she becomes an actual tank. Is that something you're looking for?
She's like
I did a lot of testing on her effectiveness, and I noticed her key flow stacking takes forever. Like she hits 2 stacks at around 60 seconds into the fight, and she needs 10.
Exactly. The unit either needs an easier way to obtain her stacks, or she just won't be good. Like sure, she has a stun.
There's the dichotomy that exists where like there's a dichotomy that exists where the game encourages you to interrupt your opponent, which forces them to hit you less, which means she stacks less. But the more she stacks, the better she becomes at interrupting, which means they hit her less, which means she stack. It's like, what the hell did they design her to do?
And not only that, if there's like 3 skills hitting her, she's dead. It's as easy as that. She's just dead.
I mean, for me, I see her as like because Fashion Blank is also a tank, right? Makoto doesn't do as much damage, but she's more of a damage dealer than a tank because I mean I don't play Makoto myself, but then
of her key focus stacks.
Yeah, I mean most of her stuff is I don't know. Yeah, everything.
You have
based
to
on
use her
tank,
super to get the stacks up. Her super gives you stacks. That's the only thing I know that actively gives you stacks from her.
So she can key focus from her super, and she can key flow from
being
her passive. Yeah, and it's a 1.5 second interval, and every time she takes a hit, she has a 20%, and it's only a 20%.
It's not even guaranteed. She will literally stand there for full rotations and gain 0 stacks. It's ridiculous.
So the average is 1 in every 5 attacks she receives, she'll gain 1 stack.
Oh, and she also has to inflict stun to get. Every time she inflicts stun, she gets key focus.
Does she?
Yeah, on her
fighting spirit. Key focus or key flow? That's different.
Key focus.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's key focus gives her stun.
Yeah, key focus is her ultimate stacking thing. Key flow is the thing that gives her effectiveness and defense. I think it is.
Yeah. So key focus increases her damage by 4% per stack for 30 seconds. Key flow increases her defense by 100 flat plus 6%. I'm just going
to throw it out there. It also increases the effectiveness of the stun on the final hit of her C2.
Oh, her FS10, whenever she gets 3 key flow, she gains another 1 key focus. So it still is not enough.
Oh, okay, so that helps you stack it a little faster.
It's not stacking it to the what you needed though.
I'm gonna check gallery and her full fighting spirit because I don't know if she's even worth. Like at plus 30, she gains key focus when inflicting a stun at plus 20. When obtaining key focus, inspires a random ally. That ally applies. Okay, so basically, plus 20 and plus 30 do not really increase her stacks except for key focus when she stuns. Her plus 30 just gives a key flow stack to one of her teammates. Which, I mean, 4% damage is something, but there is so much more. There's so many better amplifiers for your damage that 4% is probably not worth it. And then just her innate tankiness that comes with stacks is too low and it's too RNG to be useful. And also she's behind, like if you try to field her, she's actually behind a lot of units. Even as a tank, which is quite remarkable.
Well, they did that with F Blanca as well. It's I think she's not really intended to be one of those Zangief style tanks, but like I also don't actually understand what they intended her to do.
Yeah, and that's my worry is that Balrog will fall under that.
I mean, we'll see, right? Maybe they make him better, maybe they make him even worse than we think he is.
Now, if they added a line where it says Balrog like ignores pressure or something like that, that would be insane.
That's it. Yeah. That's all you need, and it's a wrap.
Or you'd like reduce everyone in combat's pressure or something like that. Like even if it does your teams as well, like that could be an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be just like a dodge without the dodge stat. You know what I mean?
Oh, like something titled differently completely.
Yeah, like
Sublime dodge
and all that.
Yeah.
Sublime dodge. I'm a fan of it.
Sublime dodge.
Sublime dodge sounds like a Dante skill, though.
No, it's a Vega skill renamed. Vega has Sublime bleed. Vega, what a meme of a character, honestly. With the way that it's like it's not bad, but the ability names are so.
Who is a huge fan of the word fire carpet appearing in Dhalsim's fighting spirit and referring to two different things in the same text box? Who
Have
likes
you tried to read Mad Ryu's passive?
It's so good.
Yeah. There's just 3 different Hadokens and nobody exactly knew what, so everyone thought that his resonance was a nerf when in reality it was a buff.
Yeah, I did actually get a friend to test that in person as well.
But yeah, I just don't think that resonance will be an important thing for pretty much any player.
And it was actually in real world practical numbers when he put the resonance on, it was like a 20% damage increase to the hit of the skill. It was pretty big.
Really? Because if I just read the numbers, it's from 420% to 480%. But keep in mind that there is other factors. It could be a crit. It couldn't be a crit. I'm pretty sure that Hadoken, his passive, could also be a heavy hit. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it could be a heavy hit.
I think the resonance
100% his tokens are heavy hits. 100% they are. It's actually listed as a heavy hit.
Yeah, it delivers as a heavy hit. But heavy hits doesn't always have a hit, by the way. If you look at his percentages, he has a 14% heavy hit rate. So that means he has a 14% to actually land that heavy hit. So it actually deals extra damage, not just the base damage. Because heavy hits is a different kind of crit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the resonance was added for B rank fighters. Like everybody wants B rank fighters to be stronger. So
this gives me hopes with Ken. It gives me hope.
They wanted to add something. Like everybody's been asking for B rank fighters to be useful because of the characters that they chose for B rank fighters.
What about like a specialty change system?
I think.
Oh no, that sounds like a lot of money.
They just need to make Ken Street Fighter 5 Ken. Forget every other B rank unit. Just give us the Street Fighter 5 Ken.
I mean, banana hair Ken does exist. We just don't have them.
What? That's what I'm saying. Give
Cocaine
it to
Guile.
us.
Okay, Kyle.
Hey, Dial. Which one is
The
that?
disrespect.
That is
He's my kind
Jean-Claude
of guy, that's
Van
for sure.
Damme's rendition of Guile from the Street Fighter movie in the 90s.
Oh, that's right. Oh, dude, what if we?
And
Oh,
he straight up
that's
did
huge.
cocaine in the movies, so that's canon.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I do have a question on a unit because I've been thinking of Vega a lot. And does anyone have Adon built up?
I have him at S plus. He's my second to last fight unit that I still have to build. What?
Because I think Vega and Adon would decimate any and every boss.
Counter argument. Have you seen the attack rates of add-on? Because they look high, but they aren't.
I'm all, again. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm only caring about bleed and the mark.
So here's what's annoying.
Hatred mark is only for himself, right?
Yeah.
No,
So-
it gets to a point where it impacts the team as well. But you need fighting spirit.
Question. We're talking about Adon in his kit. He, along with Poison and I think Beastkeef, they all reference grave injury.
Yep.
Nobody does it.
Oh,
I
no, they do.
believe
Oh, wait,
MH
no.
Ken also has it. It's a heal reduction.
Didn't
Dudley has it too.
Beastkeef C1 applied?
No, it works with it, but it doesn't apply it.
Oh wait, yeah, 100% to apply targets. What the
So yeah, we have multiple units that work with grave injury, but no unit that actually does it. Oh, Dudley has.
Dudley has it.
He
Wait,
actually
go
gives grave injury, or does he work?
regular Dudley?
Regular Dudley, yeah.
Okay, let me read his skills.
Adon does it. His C2. There's a 100% chance to inflict grave injury on the mark target.
Yeah, grave injury is 50% less heal reduction, isn't it?
Jaguar attack. His
10%,
C2.
yeah.
So go to
Okay, there it is. Okay,
Adon.
there it
So
is.
that's what I'm saying. Adon and Vega bleed, grave injury, the blind bleed, and it with the fighting spirit where his hatred mark increased crit damage of other allied fighters increased by 10% for each hatred mark that exists. That's for the whole team. And then his 20 does hatred mark for himself. And then his 30 other allied fighters deal 20% increased damage to target with hatred mark.
Counter arguments. Trendy Kemi exists.
Trendy Canby is expensive as shit.
I'm pretty sure
Who's gonna
it's
trust
cheaper than
Rokies?
getting a plus 30 Adon and Vega.
I don't.
Because like Trendy Kemi and Vega both are divination summons. So Trendy Kemi and Vega are equally expensive.
But then you can also
Like Vegas seems interesting in the sense that like I'm sure someone will plus 40 him and get him to 36 cars and he'll be good or whatever, and we'll all go, ooh, look at
have
the
you
look at the
seen
5
you?
billion damage or whatever.
No,
but like
have you seen what's going on in EU? Because KMZ is running him every time.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I think that's an over exaggeration because just like the absence of heal on not absence of heal, the missing health damage thing, like that shit stacks up. That's why it's hard for me to like see numbers as the like end all be all because like there's other anomalies like fire as stacks up that beats it's 2 damage, nothing stops it, and the more you stack the more you do. Same with bleed. So that's why I'm like I don't understand why bleed or Vega as a whole is trash. Outside of obviously AoE would make them busted, but like
I mean, no,
Well-
Vega's
well, like if you make a direct comparison to Dulcim, who is also a burn stacking, dot stacking sort of person, if I'm being honest, Dulcim is trash until he's invested. And I'm pretty sure we can all recognize that Vega is also trash until he's invested. These things scale really well, But until you have those base attack and like the high FS and the cars and all that crap, you don't have the scaling on the character to even take advantage of these long stacking mechanics.
I disagree because like as a Dawson user from day one, I've used them from the beginning without equipment, and it got me to where I am. So like that's where it's like I get the end result. We want it fully built, but units can be used regardless of what level. It's just you just like obviously you're not going to use a level 10 unit at level 300.
A little there's a little bit of hyperbole when I say the word trash, but Dhalsim when he's built is like an absolute chapter clearing monster that may be the best damage dealer in a rotational basis in the game.
Yeah,
Dhalsim before he's built is basically Chun-Li level damage.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way about it. But like, I guess what I'm saying is that I feel that a lot of units are dismissed too easily, and I guess because they're so niche. Like bleed is a more niche thing, but if you do like Vega, I guess it's because the investment it looks negative, but you're investing in teams regardless. So what would be wrong with like a fourth or a third bleed team? You know, you have your Guile, you have your Dhalsim, and then maybe a bleed team with Vega, Adon, Dudley, and
the issue is that you need AoE. At a certain point where me and Solo are, if Solo can agree with me for a sec,
I know
the level deficit is so insane that we need AoE to target all of the opposing team members, or we just can't clear it in time.
I mean, I can vouch for that
because I'm currently level 353. The waves I'm fighting is level 400 plus.
So
I'm telling you,
can't
it's 440.
So let's say if you stacked 3 camis, like because from what I'm understanding, camis are like some of the best single unit damage in the game. Let's say you have 3 camis on a team doing rotations and combos and deleting unit by unit. That's still not good enough. So like, let's say one rotation, frontline dead, tank gone. Doesn't matter what tank it is. The camis ate them up.
It's a 90 level deficit for me. I don't think you understand the sheer value of those 90 levels, especially the higher up you go. Those 90 levels is about 10 million power difference per unit.
I can support that point. Like I obviously use Jen a lot. He's a very good tank shredder. I like to do content front to back and like kill the tank first and run it through. I enjoyed killing Icy Cave Hondas first with Jen. Now that I'm at these super high deficit things, it's like 2.5 rotations to kill a Zangief if it's not actually reasonably achievable anymore.
Yeah.
That is also just why people are building Dhalsim. That is why people are building up their Blancas. They got for free and their Giles and their Vipers because they actually have the AoE to deal it. I don't even think when I finish my Akuma in 2 copies, because I have the cards that already, I have him at FS30 already. I don't even think he'll be that great for my campaign team just because he deals single targets.
Yeah, I'm slowly building up Akuma. I was just hoping to have him fit. But I might throw him in with Dhalsim just to play around and just have him Raging Demon right before Dhalsim just burns the world.
The issue is with Akuma that it's gonna hurt you by a lot. You really want to use his combos.
I will say,
and that means you're not
Akuma and Dhalsim. Well, Dhalsim C3 at plus 30 doubles burn stacks, and Akuma's C1 and C2 are the only skills in the game that have 100% proc on burn stacks.
Yep.
So like you can get a lot of burn stacked up really fast, and I think Akuma's C1 is also backline, or maybe his C2 is. But
Akuma's C2 is backline.
Yeah, his backline, and it gains damage off of burn stacks.
Yeah, so
before it switches to soul, before it switches to the soul stuff, I gotta make sure.
What I hate about Akuma is that he does flame damage right first, so you might want to use like a Fei Long assist and stuff like that. But then to get the good combo rotation where you actually stack so you don't use a C2 for a while, and then you use a C2, it becomes soul damage rather than flame damage. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Well, yeah, I get that, but at that point, you're not using Faye for Akuma. You're using Faye for Dawson.
Yeah, but you're
If
not
you're
always gonna
using
pair those two together.
Akuma with Dawson, yeah, if you're pairing them. But if you're just using Akuma, I think Mayor Cody would be better. Yuva is better. Chun would even be better with crit.
Yeah, all of those apply also.
With Fei Long, you get Mayor Cody and Fei Long. You know what I mean? It could be better, but you can have both.
Yeah, I mean that's I'm fire biased, so I have both.
Oh, we haven't noticed that by now.
Listen,
That you like your fire damage.
Wind is trash. Just saying.
I agree, honestly. That's why every character besides Yun in Wind at SSS or higher.
Yeah, right. It's just so bad that you can't make no teams with Wind whatsoever and really kick ass.
That is why I'm struggling so hard in Satsui mode right now, because Wind is not there anymore, but it's Flame and Lightning. Bro, I swear, I don't know, like, I can't even say this with a straight face. Wind is just too broken. And everyone's saying
I say it with my chest out. I don't care. But I know. Wind is busted. Thunder, listen, I'm going to call it now. I'm saying it now.
Thunder is the worst faction in the game.
Thunder is the worst faction in the game until they get their own Dawson. And then Wind definitely becomes trash. Because then now we have two Dawsons and two different elements. Just throwing that out
that's
there.
That's a Mad Ryu, dude. Mad Ryu is the Thunder's DPS.
Nope. Dawson. Once Dawson comes out, the AoE. From my understanding, Mummy Dawson is AoE stun on Thunder if they keep it.
These are. I'm gonna say that Wind becoming trash with the release of one unit is a very lukewarm take.
It's the spiciest take. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, look. If someone can start a 6-hour argument by just saying Elena is trash, I think I could start some stuffs with Mummy Dawson being OP for
this
Thunder.
Happens?
Yes.
This actually happens?
Yes. Yes.
Do you know why it happened? Is because
does no one remember first?
Yeah, because people are blindsided by, okay, campaign is the only mode that matters, which it kind of is at the early stages, but it starts to slow down, right? The importance, because of how high investments you need to actually get some progression there. But early on, people don't use Elena because you're interrupting, so you don't need a heal anymore. And Bisons, they just one-shot you, so you don't get any value from her heals because you don't heal anything. So that's why a lot of people in, I don't know, I think also no Reddit, not so much, but mostly over here, because people use Street Poison more, they're like, why I'm never using Elena ever, right? Yeah. But in PvP, she's hands down
the dumbest human being ever. Everything you're saying, I'm the opposite. I never use Street Poison. I'm just so bad at this game. I'm sorry, guys. I put shame,
but Elena's so good in PvP. Like she's like godly PvP unit.
Yep.
But I use her only. Well, not only, but I use her everywhere. It's Dawson, Elena, and then someone else. But like, I just feel like Elena's heal is just so good.
I think Summer Yang is just better than Elena, like 1-to-1.
They have different uses, in my opinion.
Elena, if the fact that she goddamn worked, then maybe.
I would agree with you that S-Yang was better, but I tested this out, and both his cars and his regular passive only apply to himself.
It's the combination of shielding and healing that really does it for me, because like Elena can heal you for 1 billion damage and your crap still gets one shot. And that's kind of the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, I get you, but the thing is, when it just comes down to healing and keeping your team alive, I still think Elena is way better.
Well, like I don't know that you can ever make the conversation about when it just comes down to healing. When
Yeah, no,
Xiang is
healing
half healing
Elena.
and shielding. Shielding is basically healing. It's just front loaded instead of on your actual HP bar. I think when you combine the amount of shield and heal, he just comes out ahead, straight out.
The thing with Elena is she scales with how lower team is. The more lower team is, the lower her team is. Wow, English. The more she heals, right? Because she heals an additional 50% when targets are below 30%, which makes the heal 22.5% of Elena's HP, which is actually quite a lot. While
And
what
it's
is
longer
it called?
with
Summer
more.
Yang heals based off his defense, which is a completely different stat, and that what is it, 1200% defense doesn't come close to the HP bar of Elena, for example, which for me at the moment is 8 million.
Okay, but can we also agree that S Young's passive is pretty trash and Elena's passive is pretty huge?
Yeah.
100%.
Also that. I think Elena is way better in PvP.
I'm undecided. I haven't played enough with them to really make that observation. I will say Elena's very, very good in PvP.
I've tested this out a lot in HWA now. And my team, funnily enough, my Bison team gets beaten quite often. But then my Abel Zangief, my Honda Zangief, Beast Zangief, Gal Elena team just wins every fight.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried Yang C1 Elena C2 comps?
I have, and the issue with that is that I have to sacrifice too much. That's basically my counter argument.
Wait, by the way, does Yang's plus 20, the damage reduction works for everyone, or is it for himself?
Yes, it does.
It does? Wait, in my testing it doesn't.
I have tested it. It absolutely does.
Oh, because I just tested it like yesterday and it didn't.
I can do it again and show you screenshots, but I'm 100% sure it does.
Okay. I'll take your word, but that if that works as it is, then that's pretty good. That's pretty nuts.
Don't get me wrong. It took a long time to test. I had to stand there and iterate and watch auto attacks and make sure the auto attacks were always coming from the right person and going to the right person. And like I tested it with 2-man teams where it was like Yang and someone else. I tested it when it hits Yang. When it hits someone else, I tested it with assists, without assists, when he's in tag, when he's not. Across the board, plus 20 does team reduction, not just himself.
Okay. That's good.
The one thing I will say for Elena is it's like, if especially is more notable when you're facing a non-Elena team because of how it's auto and whatever the other team, like let's say even if they're faster, they get one rotation combo out. By the end of your combo, you're healed the damage that they did and they're suffering. So just that alone with the Elena ticks, just next level. Especially if you're facing a non-Elena team. Elena teams will almost always win out. I've yet to face a non-Elena team for my level and just not have a problem. I've just murdered everything. And with Bison as well.
Are you in NA servers?
Yeah, I'm on NA. I'm server 1.
We can take advantage of drafts sometimes and kind of bully each other a little bit and see what's up with some like A/B testing where like one team has Elena, the other one has Yang, that sort of thing, and just see what happens.
I'm all for it. Just send me an ad and Sir Turtle in NA.
Good deal. Yeah, we'll take care of that at some point. Not today or tomorrow, but yeah.
But yeah, Elena is powerful, and I think that's why for me, also is outside of the beef realm, survivability is super important, and every part of Elena's kit is really good. She gives a battery for the super. She gives damage reduction, attack, and heals.
Yeah, the fact that she's actually part of speed tuning is like wildly underrated. Like she can make your team go first. It's crazy.
So like that's why when people are like, "Oh, Elena is not that good," I'm just like, man, I guess you guys don't know how to use a support. That's just my thinking. It's like I feel a lot of people underrate these things because it's not damage, it's not speed, and it's not beef. It's just I'm just like, man, this is just the whole new world out there. Let me be your Aladdin to your Jasmine and show you a whole new world of what's possible out there.
Okay, I gotta remind myself that you don't use Bizangief. That's why you value
Yeah,
Then a
man.
speed buff.
Like, think about it like this. I'm telling you right now, it's like if you guys can do it, I will throw out because y'all all skills and big bad guys. Open a free to play account.
I
Don't
just
use
did.
beef.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Y'all want to be big ball Donkey Kong? Don't use beef, and then come at me. Then get to chapter 32.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a
Get this guy
psychopath.
out of here, dude.
I want to see if y'all can do that, and if anyone can actually do that without pulling their hair out. I'm lucky I'm not bald. I got luscious locks because I got Dawson. But do that.
Look, man,
do
I'm
it without
22.
beef.
I don't want to lose my hair yet.
This guy is crazy, dude. Did
So,
you just
like,
hear what he just said? Don't use Zangief.
Because the thing is, you have to
dude.
think. That's why my mind, for me, the way I thought about it from day one is, I knew we were gonna have multi-team just from the get. Like, this was people were, spoilering Taiwan and China. I did my own research. I'm not dumb. As much as they like to say don't compare or whatever, there's a basis there. And if you're not looking at the basis and thinking, how can I make this better for me in my account? I'm sorry, but you're not using the most of the knowledge that you're given. So when I saw that, I was just like, 4 teams. That sounds fun. Now I get to, throw puzzle pieces in the air and see what connects. But then day one, everyone was like, "Oh, yo, Beast and Geef is busted." And then week 2, everyone was like, "I'm in chapter 30 because of Beast and Geef." I'm over here like, y'all gonna cry, y'all gonna feel it. And especially when you get to team 2, no one's gonna know how to play the game because they don't have another beast. And that's how it's proving to be. It's showing a lot of people are struggling. They're struggling without Beast and Geef.
Counter argument though, the differences between stage probably 27 or something where you were at back when people got to stage 36 are quite noticeable, and they got those resources way faster than you. I don't even know what stage you're on at the moment.
I'm on 3240.
Okay, so the differences aren't that major anymore, but just the difference in resources alone to get to stage 36 as fast as possible does help an account a lot.
Well, yeah, no, but see, that's the thing is you keep those specific words matter. Fast as possible. Again, that we're taking away Beast and Geef and accelerating. We're just playing the game for the game.
I mean, okay.
I'm gonna throw it out here. I'm gonna throw this out here. I'll throw this one little caveat out here. I feel like I'm enjoying the game more as a less sweatier tryhard than the other tryhards who are like breaking their back to get to 30s and stuff like that. That's just my opinion.
I'm big chill.
My back doesn't hurt after clearing stage 22 in 5 days. As a free to play, I don't know. I'm liking it here.
It's chill.
I like
right?
Beast and Geef. I like Beast and Geef.
No Beast and Geef. I'm telling you.
It is Beast and Geef.
Look, I'm telling you. Look, I'm gonna throw this out there. This is gonna be recorded on the internet. If y'all don't got the title of best in this game, if you ain't using Beast and Geef. If you're using Beast and Geef, then you're just a sheep amongst the flock. I'm throwing that out there. Yeah, that's right.
Ouch.
Big fire words. I'm throwing it out there. That's right.
The thing is,
I like that character.
It's actually quite fun. Like if you look at it, instead of you using some other characters that you could cheese with, he's probably like the most friendly cheese unit. Like my second team, I use E Honda cheese, right? Getting 4 interrupts in a row
Oh
is
man,
not
it sucks.
as satisfying as just doing it one time with Bizengif consistently. Yeah,
Beast and Give. Look,
game.
look. I know Beast and
so
Give
fresh.
accelerates, but Beast and Give takes no skill.
No, Bisagif does
you
take
do.
skill.
No. This is how I'm gonna. This is why it's weird. It's a 50-50. Using Beast and Give to interrupt is skill intensive. Yes, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that once you get to that point, Beast and Give makes it easy mode, which then thus takes the skill out of the game. That's what I mean. Is once you get so good at this, you're just like, okay, I'm going from chapter 36 to 40. Like, that's boring. That's boring. I want to theory craft a team where it's just not I'm gonna spin to win and move to the next chapter.
What is Solo doing? He's interrupting with every team, but is he not theory crafting?
Whoa,
Here's the thing. Okay. Sir Turtle, you can. What if you don't use Bizengif for the interrupt, but for the 60% increased damage?
Listen, I see what you're trying to do, Tix. You're never gonna get me to say it. You're never gonna get me to say it. You know what? If you're a dirty Beast and Give user, the 6 plus 60% is chest kiss. There you go.
Yeah, I mean you can't look the other way. 60% increased damage.
No, I'm not stupid. Beast and Give is good. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I love this topic. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't use him. I'm just saying, I'm rubbing and pulling and yanking on people's chains. That's all it is. Listen, what other meta unit am I using? Or Bison. That's the only one.
Also, I inspired Damien, the biggest whale on EU, to also come join my free-to-play adventures.
Free-to-play. I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. This is the disrespect. The line is drawn. Dalsum is not meta.
Yeah, Dalsum is meta, so you can't use him now.
No, I'm gonna hurt
Dalsum
every
is
one
very
of you
much
guys.
meta.
I'm gonna hurt
by the
every
way.
single one of you guys.
Dalsum is actually meta, by the way. I'm not even joking.
Never. No.
Look.
If y'all not using him on team 1, he's not meta.
Turtle.
I hate you all.
I have to use 3 different teams. He's sometimes on my first team, sometimes on my third. It depends on the wave. Dalsum is actually meta. If you want to talk about non-meta units, use a fucking Dudley or a Makoto and then talk. But
okay, you know what? Here's my counterpoint. How about this? I made a meta. There you go. Bam, you're welcome. Because it wasn't for me and Peace and maybe 2 other users. No one else.
He's saying, right?
Name another.
He said he made him meta.
Yeah, I have to say it. I have to now. That's it. I can no longer use Dalsum.
Turtle is a developer. It's confirmed. Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, he made him meta.
You know, the only reason why I used Dolphin was because someone else hated him so much in PvP, and I was like, if someone can have so much hate for one unit, that means I have to use it and spread that hate to everyone.
I can do nothing but respect it, to be honest.
Listen, I got this from my wife. She plays card games different. She doesn't care if she loses. She does not care if she loses. As long as you suffered in the process of winning, she got her W. So she plays deck out decks, life burn decks, hand mill decks, all the annoying decks that it has nothing to do with winning fast, but just make you cry and wish you never play her again. And because of that, I've grown to love dots and burn and stuff like that. So it's too much decks. It's horrible.
I'm using Dawson, dude.
You're gonna see it. I mean, yeah, I can't deny it. That's why I said that. That's why I think differently, and I guess I'm not. That's why I wanted to ask you guys at some point in time. I was telling Tix and Don. I was like, y'all need to look at my account. And I was telling Don, I'm about to lend you my account for a week just to see what you can do. Because I know I'm not being efficient. And I know I could be so much higher at where I'm at. But I'm just like, ooh, look at the pretty stacks of burn and fire. That's nice.
Oh, look, he's also using Dalsim. That's weird.
Oh, I'm using Dawson. Yeah, Dawson
and
is
it- and it-
great.
Yeah, and then it's and you want to know the best? It's the only team he's running.
Only team I need to use. It's the only team I ever use.
No, and look, listen, y'all joke, but once Dawson's come out, every team is going to have a Dawson. So team 1 is primary Dawson, team 2 is gonna be mummy Dawson, team 3 is gonna be fashion Dawson.
It's just the auto team.
Yeah, so we have a Chun guy. Why are you using your combos before the?
I don't know. I'm just auto battling. I'm way over leveled for this already.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Surprised me how you're only at inverse. Wait, you're an A, right?
Yeah,
Uh
I'm only on
Sad.
like inverse 4.
yeah. But if you were on EU and you would go to leaderboards of this thing, you would see me at second place. The server cross server.
All right, so just to wind down on the call itself, does anyone have any final topics, final words they want to say before we?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that this game is very free to play friendly.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
takes a long time.
Just
We
be
just gotta be
patient.
patient.
Yeah, be patient.
You don't even have to be patient. That's
Yeah,
the
you
thing
do.
that I'm proving with my account. You don't have to be patient. You just have to know what you're doing. And you don't have to be afraid to ask questions and stuff, but the game is
read.
if you know what you're doing and you have the skill required, or you just ask the questions what you should be doing, you can actually progress so much. Like I'm currently at the pace that I'm going on my free to play account. I'm like 2 weeks ahead of where I was on my whale account because I know what I'm doing.
Put it in the fridge.
So pretty much the
Not
game
to
is
see horses.
skill intense. It's actually skilled more than anything.
You kidding?
If you like take the time, like if you have the time, of course. If you don't have like the time to invest more than 20 minutes into the game, of course you'll be slow.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I'm throw it out
Uh-oh.
again. The gauntlet. I'm throwing
might
out a
lose.
challenge to you guys. Start a new account. Don't use Beast Zangief.
Nope.
Oh.
I just won't.
Do it. Do it.
We can't flood the
challenge you.
servers with accounts that we're not gonna play again, though.
Yeah,
No,
We
exactly.
can't do that.
No, don't please. Don't give me that bullshit. I'm in a server where people already left. Don't give me that. That's the way this game is. Make an account. All I hear is excuses. It smells like bitch in here. Make an account.
Why?
Don't use no
no.
Beast Zangief. Yeah, that's
Oh.
right. I said I'm throwing the gauntlet out. If y'all
Oh.
can't prove it to me, then I don't know if I can listen to y'all anymore. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh wait, Sir Turtle.
Yo.
Okay. What if instead of just starting a new account, just clear a stage without Zangief, you know? That's the easy way.
That's the easy, cheap way.
The cheap way.
That's the
Okay.
cheap way. Because then you have units built up and Bisons and Guiles all like max. No. Y'all need to know what it's like. Try it. I'm throwing it out there. If y'all just do it, just take one day. Just poop. One poop session. And I guarantee you're going to cry. Do it myself. I am. I don't use Beast Zangief. My account. Oh, not me. Oh, that's why I was confused.
Yo, Turtle, are you online into game right now?
What happened?
No,
Can you-
don't tell him.
Don't worry about it.
I'm messaging you. I'm in the direct messages.
It's too good. Right team will win.
Right?
Bro, it is. Wait, actually, no, I voted left. Never mind, I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Forgets
I
fire
was
and
thinking
thunder
for it.
power exists. Don't forget they exist. They don't have peace.
I can't buy this.
Alright,
I
but
wanna
other than
buy
that,
this.
anything else? No?
I
Alright.
don't think so.
We'll leave it at that. Next week, hopefully, a new character should be announced. More events.
90,000 gems. What would I do with 9k gems?
And
It's
Can we
45k gems for the $20, by the way.
what are
Or
we
if I
on
bu- I
schedule
can
for
still
another
buy both of
collab?
them.
that's my other question. My last final question. We're on schedule for another
Are we still?
collab soon, right? Like, comment, subscribe, stay happy, stay hydrated, stay alive. Friday Fighters out.